Sports on Tap Detroit, brought to you by the Realtors of the Joe Wright Group, Jason Stiltner of Flagstar Bank, Aldman Entertainment.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
We are tonight's entertainment.
We're here to fuck shit up.
Sports the way it should be. Nothing sugar-coated, we're loaded with all the information you wanted. From legends to prospects, nothing's off limits. Chris and Joe be taking on all topics with no stopping. They keep it rolling and going and ball hopping at a rate that's hard stopping with news and straws dropping. They're getting it in. Sports Center competition, man, they in it to win. This ain't a fluke from Carolina to Duke, from MSU to Michigan. You'll know if you listening. If you ain't, you missing it. All the excitement, they shock like a thundercloud and ride with lightning. Get it together, you know ain't nobody better. Bring heat than cold weather. You better put on a sweater. You better just let it go when all coming attack. Sit back, relax, let's tell them it's on tap.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Hey, we're back. Welcome to episode 149 of Sports on Tap Detroit. I am Chris Scott, alongside Joe Waddell. Joe, how are you?
Good.
Yeah,
Good, man. How about you?
Well, doing all right. Plugging along like usual. So
Yeah, sorry I threw you off. I didn't have a drop there. That was my bad.
I was waiting for it.
No.
You're right. You did kind of catch me off guard with that one, but
Yeah.
what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Anyways, so obviously we've been off. We didn't do a show Friday because having some mechanical issues in our studio / my basement.
Mechanical issues.
Mechanical
Yeah.
issues. So we couldn't do a show Friday, unfortunately, but we're back now. And now that the NFL's starting back up here shortly, which we have a game Thursday, the Hall of Fame game, even though it's arguably the worst football game of the season, next to the Pro Bowl. It's not even a game anymore.
It's not.
But-
I'm even as a football fan, I'm not even really looking forward to watching it. It's the most watered down football you'll ever get. It's basically just like, okay, here's a just an amuse-bouche, the little sampling of just a little an amuse-bouche, an hors d'oeuvre.
Yes, and hors d'oeuvres.
An aperitif.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's just it's a little sampling of football, and you're like, everyone will gobble it up because it's the first NFL football they've seen since last year.
It signifies that it's back.
It does, and that's about all it does, though.
Yeah.
Is the football will be the worst football you've seen played.
Yeah, for sure.
There will be guys playing in that game that will be eventually bagging your groceries at a local grocery store.
There's guys playing in the game that couldn't even make like an XFL roster.
That is true.
So,
But
again,
hey, NFL.
it signifies that it's back, which
He's back.
which is what we're pretty excited about. So,
Yes, it means we're right around the corner from not only the start of the NFL season, which is awesome. We're right around the corner from the start of college football season.
yeah,
Which also is fucking awesome.
very excited about that.
Speaking of which, I want to just ask you something here real quick before we get started.
Sure.
You were finally able to play College Football 25,
Yes.
and you played it Sunday for the first time,
I did.
even though you've had it since the day it came out.
I've had it since the Thursday that it came out. I know people pre-ordered it and paid it extra to get it early. I wasn't about to do that. 'Cause
Right.
For what? Why? Who cares?
Well, yeah, you'll eventually get it, and even when you eventually got it, you didn't play it
I
right
didn't
away.
play it.
so-
I didn't get a chance.
you know,
Well,
because adult.
Well, not only that, but I had heard that there was some kind of messed up gameplay on it, so they're waiting for a patch for it.
Gotcha.
So I was like, okay, I'll just wait for that. No big deal. But yes, I did play it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It honestly, because lady friend, she asked me, she goes, "You just pick it right up?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's like riding a bike."
Yeah,
It literally is. Like I haven't played it for literally like 10 years.
yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it's like riding a bike, But overall, I like it so far. I'd like to dig in a little bit more than I did Sunday. But yeah, like the graphics on it are amazing. The stadiums look amazing. Gameplay, I think, could be slightly better. But overall, I'm just happy to have it back. I really am.
Yeah.
It's probably like through the PlayStation / Xbox era. That's probably been my favorite game is the college football games. So I'm just happy to have it back. And
Nice.
hopefully we don't get hiatus from college football. So like I said, I'm just happy to have it back, and yeah, I recommend it if you're thinking about getting it. I would get it. It's good. It works. It's cool. It's just weird seeing like the actual players in the game.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, that's cool. I mean, like obviously, they're getting paid for it, which is ideal for them. But it's just weird. You don't have like you see the quarterback of X team, and it's like some random name. It's not that way anymore. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. That's sorry, I'm trying to sync our chat here on the board, but I see Dennis commented. He said and hockey. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually there'll be hockey. But he also said all preseason games are hard to watch. Most preseason games are hard to watch. Up until there's like 1 week of preseason where they're going to play most of their starters for like 3 quarters.
Even that.
That's
like,
that I'm into.
Yeah.
But most preseason football is hard to watch for sure.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I can certainly understand that. So I just with preseason in general, like I think they're too long. And obviously with the NFL going to 18 games, which is going to happen.
Oh yeah.
So basically you're going to get what?
That's happening.
You're basically going to get like what, 1 preseason game? Maybe 2.
I think they're going to do 2.
Yeah.
I believe they're going to do 2. So and at that point in time, it's basically going to be the teams are going to narrow down most of their players in practices, and they're going to do a lot of that shared practices.
They've been doing that a lot lately.
Scrimmages.
Like,
Well,
these
it's
past
all
few years.
it's all leading up to the fact
Yeah.
that they're not going to have too many preseason games anymore. So they're going to do a lot of that stuff. You're
Yeah.
going to whittle down the rosters based on that. There'll be 2 roster cut down dates, which will be the 2 preseason games. Like it'll be like that Tuesday afterwards, or whatever. But
right.
and basically one of those games will be a ramp up to regular season per se.
Mm-hmm.
The other one will be just to
see like if
a
like a
waste.
guy can make the team or something like that,
Right.
like the kind of scrubs or whatever you want to say. Because they've been doing this for a few years now. The coaches actually find these joint practices more effective than preseason games.
Yep. Well, because in preseason, a lot of teams try more stuff in joint practices and scrimmage games than they do in in preseason games, because they're constantly trying things out, and they're less likely to try things out on like a national stage or a game that's going to be broadcast or anything. Like in a joint practice where really it's only you and the other team.
Yeah.
You're trying some shit out. You're doing some stuff and you're actually getting at it. The preseason games really have become where you're not truly going after it. You're just going through the motions.
Yo, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah. So, like I said, it's good to have it back. But before we jump into more NFL stuff, the MLB trade deadline was today. For those of you that didn't know,
it was.
And around these parts, the Tigers, they did have some attractive pieces that could have dealt.
And I wasn't sure they were going to trade any of them at first.
Neither was I. Like, went out through this whole day, I'm like, are they going to do anything here? Like, what's happening? Like,
Well,
why has this not happened yet?
It made it all the way up to the very deadline.
It really did.
Like literally, it was like last second for the bigger name.
Yeah. So the bigger names they got rid of was Mark Hanna, and they got a right-handed pitcher named Eric Silva for him. Now, I'm not going to pretend I know any of these guys they got in return. I don't really know anything about them. I really don't follow minor league baseball. So I'm just going to go by people who do actually follow minor league baseball, so I can kind of give you a little bit of a scouting report on these guys. Mm-hmm. So this guy, Eric Silva, he apparently they say that the Tigers were lucky to get anything in this type of trade, which, okay. But he's posted ERAs north of 5 as a starter in 22 and 23, which doesn't really bode well. If you're throwing above 5 in the minors, that's probably not good. And now he got moved to the bullpen in 2024, which I guess he's somewhat improved with that move. He does have 51 strikeouts and 41 in the third innings, but 18 walks and a 4.35 ERA. Again, not great, especially for a guy coming out of the pen.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you got something from Mark Hanna. You got that salary off the books. Okay.
Well, so they
Fine.
traded Mark Canha.
Yeah.
They also traded Andrew Chafin, right?
Did they? I didn't see that.
Yeah, they traded Andrew Chafin.
Again? Who did they trade him to?
So let's see. They traded Chafin to the Rangers.
Oh, he'll love it down there.
They got Joseph Montalvo and Chase Lee
Okay.
for him.
Yeah.
And then they traded Carson Kelly for Liam Hicks and,
That one I knew about.
right-hander
Yeah.
Tyler Owens.
They had been a couple days ago.
Yeah, the Carson Kelly trade was from a couple days ago.
Yeah.
So today they traded Flaherty, Canna, and Chafin.
Got it. Okay. I mean,
all in all, I think I'm not 100% happy with the haul they got for Flaherty. I think he was one of the bigger pitching pieces,
he was arguably the biggest.
and yet I feel like Scott Harris once again fell short at the trade deadline. Man, last year was a bigger debacle than this.
Right.
This one, I don't know, man. You had to trade him, in my opinion, because if you didn't, you're losing him to free agency, which, okay, what are you going to get? You're going to late first-round draft pick if he leaves? I mean, okay.
So
Trade him for something, but
yeah.
let's put it this way. They got 2 players for him, and it was like 69.2% of prospects wash out.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, if you get 3 prospects, you have a chance to have one of them make a major league roster.
And you only
You got two. So
Right.
like, it is what it is. You kind of had to trade him because if you saw the writing on the wall that you weren't going to re-sign him,
Yeah.
then you kind of had to do it. So
Now, the one player they did get is a catcher first baseman. It's Dodgers' number 4 prospect. Well, the Dodgers farm system is absolutely loaded. So, okay, is their number 4 prospect? That's not terrible. In Theron Lorenzo, I believe, is how you pronounce his name.
they're saying here it's the number 8 Dodgers prospect.
If I'm looking at it, it's number 4. Who knows?
Yeah.
None of these are concrete.
And then
so,
the shortstop is Trey Sweeney, number
Yeah.
22 prospect.
Okay.
But yeah, is that the number 8 overall in the league prospect, or is that just 8 on the Dodgers? Or is that 4? I don't know.
I would assume number 4 in the Dodgers system. So, okay.
Okay.
But what they said about the main piece in this in Lorenzo says, despite some regression this year, Lorenzo is a powerful 21-year-old who slugged 24 home runs in only 94 games at single A in 2023. Despite a lack of carrying tools, so it's like, okay, fine. Like, I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know any of these guys.
No,
and none of us know how this is going to play out for at least the next
The
3
only
years.
the only thing I don't like in these scenarios is when you. I'm trying to think of what closer just got traded to was the Padres.
Yeah.
And they traded like their number 2 overall prospect, their number 4 overall prospect, their number it was like a haul for a closer. You know what I mean?
Right.
And Flaherty is having a hell of a year, and he should have been highly sought after by teams wanting to win a World Series.
Right.
Wanting to make that push. And I just feel like, once again, they fell short.
So, Trey Sweeney, he's 24. He's 6'3", 212. He's with AAA OKC. He was originally Yankees' top pick in 2021. He's currently hitting 254 with 13 bombs and 62 ribbies and 16 stolen bases this year. But he's 24.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. I know there's late bloomers. I understand
Well,
that.
he's almost at the point where you can't even consider him a prospect anymore.
Exactly.
What is 20 at 25? You're done being a prospect.
And
So-
especially at playing with being a shortstop.
Yeah.
So
I mean-
I'm not gonna crush the trade because again we don't know.
I think it's impossible to crush a trade right away, other
Yeah.
than the fact like you can look at it and go, "Man, it's underwhelming."
Yeah.
And to me, it's underwhelming. Not as underwhelming as last year.
No, certainly not.
Dennis says, "Just happy they kept Scooble." I
I
agree.
am
with,
too.
I agree with that one.
Yes, we talked about that a couple shows ago. That
Would have had to have been the godfather of all
it would have
of all deals.
for sure.
And then Jeremy Yankowski says, "Hello, gents. It's been a minute. What's up, Jeremy? How you doing, brother? Thanks for tuning in."
Oh,
again.
what's up? Yeah, I'm happy they kept Scooble. You're right. They would have had to have gotten literally a Godfather offer to get rid of him. So
Yeah, it would have had to been the deal of all deals.
and even Scooble himself said he wanted to stay here. He's like, okay.
Which is good, and that's great. And now, but see, now's the thing, man. All right, if you keep him,
Build.
Yeah. And sign him.
Yeah.
Spend money.
Yep.
If you're not going to spend money, keeping him makes no sense.
And that's why
it's pointless.
This offseason is big. Because if you see what they do in free agency, and they basically do what they've done in the past decade, then you know they're not serious. Then trade them. Why bother even keeping them? Like, what point? For what?
Well, see, that would be my argument in that case. Is I would love to see them keep him, which they did, and he's at this point arguably the best pitcher in the league, one of.
He's more likely going to win the Cy Young Award in the American League this year. Yeah.
So, and listen, he's homegrown.
Yeah.
Which you don't get very often.
You really don't. What, last guy was what? Verlander?
Yeah. So, like, you look at it, and it's a big deal. Now, you have such a big piece there.
Yeah.
And you have some other pieces that are not quite as big. Fucking do something with them. Sign some free agents, spend some money, spend it in the right ways, which includes upping Skubal. But yeah, do something with it.
And again, that's why I said this offseason is going to be very telling on kind of what direction they're going to go here. It's going to be
Bro, I'm not going to lie. I don't have high hopes. I hope I'm surprised. But yes, it's huge. They need to spend, and they need to spend wisely.
Yes.
And they need to start making a go of this as opposed to just kicking the can down the road like they've been doing for a while.
You're right. You are correct. Now, moving off off Major League Baseball in the trade deadline.
The MLB.
The MLB. Oh my God! I was listening to a show today. This person that was doing the show, she kept saying the MLB. I swear, like she said it like 6 times, and not in the right context either.
She is now your most hated individual.
Every time I heard it, I'm like, I hate you.
You're like,
so much.
I despise you.
Oh my
as
God.
A person.
And the funny thing is, she didn't even realize. I don't even think she realized she was doing it, and it was just like, oh my God, it sounds so bad.
What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. So,
Dennis says, sorry, not to interrupt. Dennis says, haven't had high hopes with this team for a long while.
I don't think anybody has.
No, Dennis, I'm with you, and I think that's part of the problem, though, brother. I really do. I think that's part of the issue. Is we should have high hopes.
Yes.
We should expect something, but we don't because they've been underwhelming for so long, and they've basically just kicked the can. And I think this next year is put up or shut up. Like Chris said, it's huge. It's a huge offseason for them.
So before we hop into some NFL topics, I wanted to give a shout out to our HVAC guy, Ambrose Licata. This is the reason why we didn't do a show Friday is we had to have some work done on our furnace and AC units. And he came out that day and like he knocked it out of the park. He gave us, great quote. Very highly recommended from agents that Lady Friend works with. So if you're in need of any HVAC service or whatever, I highly recommend giving this gentleman a call. His number is 586-879-9283. So like I said, if you're in need of any HVAC service, I highly recommend this dude. He was incredibly great with his time. And yeah, he's installing our stuff tomorrow. So
nice.
Yep. I just wanted to give him a quick shout out. So yes, exactly. Pow. Anyways, so moving on to the NFL. Let's just hop right into it. What are the biggest stories heading into training camp? Which training camp's already started, but this was supposed to be a Friday topic. But since we didn't do a show Friday, we'll do it now.
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest storylines is the ungodly money that quarterbacks are getting right now.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
It's fucking insane, dude. It's insane.
Like Tua? Really?
Well, so the highest paid quarterbacks in the league right now.
Yeah.
Jordan Love, $55 million a year.
Yeah.
This is the average annual salary.
Oh, yeah.
Jordan Love, 55. Joe Burrow, 55. Trevor Lawrence, 55.
Oh.
Tua, 53.1. Goff, 53. Herbert, 52.5. Then you got Lamar Jackson at 52. Hurts at 51. Kyler Murray at 46.1. And Deshaun Watson rounds out that top 10 there at $46 million a year.
Yeah.
Now, the kicker on the Deshaun Watson one is that it's all fully guaranteed.
Yeah.
which the more time goes on right now, it's playing less and less of a factor. But I think they have 2 more years left in this fucking deal. And 2 years ago, I told you it was going to be an albatross, and it's been an albatross. So we got that. But yeah, I think one of the biggest things is the quarterback contracts. And I'm just going to throw this stat out there for you, money-wise stat. This is insane to me. The 2020 quarterback draft class, they have amassed, before Jordan Love's signing, amassed $1.005 billion in contracts.
That's certainly a number.
That was before Jordan Love's contract.
Yeah.
You got Burrow, $275 million for 5 years. You got Herbert, $262.5 for 5. Hurts, $255 for 5, and Tua, $212 for 4. And then you got the Jordan Love contract that he just signed. Those numbers are fucking astounding to me.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest stories going in the offseason is
yeah.
The quarterbacks are taking over money-wise, and you're going to start to see some of these teams that are paying these quarterbacks all this money. And I know the salary cap goes up every year, and it went up quite a bit this year, but, like, at what point do you need to stop spending so much on quarterbacks to address the rest of your team before it starts becoming a detriment to the rest of your team? A quarterback and a quarterback alone cannot win you a Super Bowl.
No.
It cannot. They can help. If you have a bad quarterback, you're probably not going to win a Super Bowl. But we've seen it done before.
We have.
You need to be able to build a team, and I think at a certain point in time, like, these contracts for quarterbacks are getting slightly ridiculous.
And especially guys that, frankly, don't deserve them. Like, you get, like, Trevor Lawrence. Like, why are you giving that dude all that money? Like, Tua. Like, why are you giving that dude all that money? Really?
Yeah.
No, these guys shouldn't get that contract.
Fucking Dennis. Did that plug save you $100 on your service?
No. It saved me quite a bit more than that.
How's that? Well, I think the thing is, it saved you more than that without doing the plug, and you did the plug because you did save quite a bit.
I did. So, again, I recommend him. So.
Yeah. That's the thing. I love we're always willing to put somebody's name out there that we don't do it with the simple fact that, hey, we'll put your name out there, get us something. No. Like, you just got a really good deal with this guy, and it's like, well, shit, we're gonna give you a shout out because that's fucking awesome.
You deserve a shout out. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, so, but with the QB contracts, obviously Aaron Rodgers is going to be a big story to kind of see how that situation plays out, whether he can actually stay healthy or not. I don't know, man. I've said this in previous episodes. I just don't think he cares about football anymore. I don't. I really don't. And again, you got a 40-year-old coming off an Achilles injury that doesn't really seem too interested in football anymore. I don't know. I think that's going to be a shit show the entire year. And the other big story to me is this new hip drop tackle rule. I think that's going to be an absolute nightmare for at least the first 6 weeks until they actually figure out how to call it. And even after that, I still think it's going to be pretty bad. But that's going to be – you're going to get people just furious about this new rule. And it's going to be just like roughing the passer. How we get mad about it every week.
I think that's going to be the new roughing the passer call. So I'm with you. I think this is going to be – it's an emphasis this year, which when the NFL says they're going to do something and put an emphasis on it,
I think they overdo it.
They start out gangbusters.
Oh yeah,
right. Then they'll reel it in a notch when people start getting upset about it. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to start the season out. We've got that. We've got the new kickoff.
Jeremy says Rodgers will make it 5 games this season. I'll take the under on that.
Oh. I don't know what I'm gonna do because I feel like every time this dude is counted out, he just comes back. Other than last year where he got hurt first fucking series, but. I don't know. As a quarterback, I mean, you can think about what you want about the guy, but as a quarterback, he's been one of the best to ever play the game. If he can come back and even show any glimpse of being a capable NFL quarterback, that team is primed. That's really all they need is for him to come in and be be competent. It's really it. And that team is primed.
How ironic
It's
would
what-
be,
it's
how
whether
ironic
he
would
can-
be if that was all they needed, and he was just terrible.
just bad.
God, that would be
I don't
awesome.
know.
That would be amazing. But yeah, back to the hip drop thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be, like I said, I think for at least the first 6, maybe 7 weeks, this is going to be an absolute debacle. But you're right. When the NFL wants to implement something that they find imperative, yeah, they tend to go a little bit overboard with it. And I think that's going to be the case here with this new rule. And then they kind of back off a little bit. I think it's going to be a thing the entire season. And it's going to be, like we said, like with roughing the passer and hell, even like defensive pass interference. You know, it's the 2 rules that fans get irate about, you know. And I think this is just going to add to it. And another thing I don't like about this rule is the players didn't even want it.
Yeah.
Like, why? If the players didn't want it, why are you making this a rule? You know? And then you got one more thing with onside kicks. Yeah, they're basically eliminated now. You're not going to be able to do onside kicks anymore, pretty much.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's not the biggest thing in football anyway, but sometimes they're absolutely necessary. However, yeah, like sometimes they're necessary to try to maybe get back in a game.
Necessary?
Necessary.
Is it
Necessary? Is necessary. So, like, this new onside kick rule is they are illegal before the 4th quarter. So that would have eliminated New Orleans onside kick in the Super Bowl against Indianapolis. That never would have happened with this new rule. You must be losing to kick an onside kick, which is absurd to me. You should be able to do it whenever you want. And you must tell the other team of your intention to do so. Like, what?
Hey, by the way, we're gonna run a trick play here.
Ugh.
Just a heads up.
This is about as dumb as the fucking ghost runner in baseball. Like, what are we doing here?
All right, let's not go that far.
Like, what the fuck?
I mean,
are we doing here?
it's bad, but Ghost Runner in baseball, no,
Dude.
still bad.
Like, I don't understand this. I really don't. Why are we trying to just destroy sports with stupid fucking rules? It just makes no sense.
I
to
feel
me.
like every league is basically just doing their best concerted effort to top each other on like
I think so.
absurd fucking rules. Like baseball's like, hey, when we do extra innings now, we're gonna go with 2 outs, and we're gonna start a guy at second.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? or we're gonna do a pitch clock,
Yeah.
and we're gonna give the pitchers fucking 10 seconds to throw the ball, and the NFL's like,
Nah.
hold my beer.
Hold my beer. I got
And
you.
I got this. we're gonna do away with onside kicks, but we're not really gonna do away with them. We're gonna make the rules to where they're just gonna do away with them themselves, and we're just gonna make it so absurd that it's fucking stupid. And then, oh, by the way, we're gonna institute a new rule where every tackle that basically happens is a hip drop tackle, and we're gonna tell everybody you can't hip drop tackle. So. Are you putting flags on them? What are we doing?
But if you think about it, it's genius because what everybody's gonna be talking about every week?
the offensive scores?
The NFL.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
You know, it's kind of genius.
well,
if you
the
think
amount
about
of scoring that's going to happen because
Oh, my
nobody can
God.
tackle anybody.
it. Yeah, there's gonna be flags after flags after flag after flags. That's the thing. Last year, I feel last year and the year before and the year before that, we bitch about constantly. It's the National Flag League. It's just.
Well, it used to be the No Fun League because the minute you tried to have fun, it was
What?
and the,
I don't know what that
slowly turning the NFL into South Park's Sarcastiball League.
means. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't know what that means either. I've never seen Sarcastable.
You can't even read.
It's not his fault he can't read. I'm gonna have to look that up. Hold on.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. But yeah, so that's just some of the bigger stories that kind of look through, and obviously see how like some of these rookie QBs, especially Caleb Williams, how he does. You know, starting for the Bears, which again we have thought that he's going to be a bust, but and I think he'll have a target on him simply because he does have weapons coming into his rookie season. You know, unlike some other players, Justin Fields, who didn't have weapons when he came in. But Williams is coming in.
He just corrected it. Sarcastable. So I did find it.
Okay, that's a thing.
Yeah, when Randy Marsh learns that kickoffs have been banned from elementary school football due to fears of serious injury, he protests this at a PTA meeting and sarcastically suggests implementing a ridiculously safe and emasculating new game called Sarcastable.
Jesus.
Which the boys wear bras and tinfoil hats, use a balloon instead of a ball, and give hugs and compliments to the opposing team instead of tackling them.
It sounds amazing. Okay.
All right. That's great.
Yeah, all right.
That is fantastic.
I suppose I can see it. That's kind of where it's going.
Hugs and compliments
Hugs
instead of tackles.
So
that's good shit.
Another topic I wanted to get in here. So we got who are the top 5 quarterbacks of each conference?
Of each conference.
Yes.
Wow, that's a tough one. And some of them. I mean, some of them are obvious.
And you don't have to go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just be like these are the top 5. Like it doesn't have to be like in order or anything like that.
Yeah. Let me see. So I will give me a minute.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I'll give you a minute.
Just give me a minute. I know it's good for radio. Just give me a minute.
Yeah, dead air, amazing.
Dead air is awesome for radio. So let's do that. Let's do that right there. Well, I mean, you could kick it off, man. If this was your topic.
It is.
Come on.
I mean, obviously, we'll start with the AFC first, and obviously, it's Patrick Mahomes. I mean, that's just a no-brainer. He's the best quarterback in the NFL.
Yes.
Yes. So that's obviously the no-brainer. But after that, it starts to get, I guess, somewhat murky. I mean, I think Josh Allen's in the top 5 in the AFC.
Yes. So,
I would put Joe Burrow in the top 5 in the AFC.
So AFC, I would go Josh Allen, Joe Burrow,
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. So the top 3, the 3 for us so far are the same.
Then I would go.
This is kind of where it gets interesting.
This is where it gets interesting because there's some of these that I don't have trust in where other people do, and it's all about opinion.
I already know I already know who you're talking about.
I'm gonna go with Lamar Jackson.
There it is.
Because of his athletic, he's not necessarily the like if you're going prototypical quarterback, no, but I mean he's gonna be the leader in a lot of offensive points for his team. So yeah. I guess I would go him. He's won 2 MVPs. I would get called a hater if I didn't go with him. It is what it is. But then it might be too early for this.
You're already going with who I would have gone with.
So it might be too early for this. I pretty much have a tie, but I'm gonna give it to the younger guy. For me, it's a tie.
Yep.
Between the quarterback I'm not going with, which is Tua, who just got the big contract.
Yep.
Because I'm gonna put him just slightly under that because I feel like a lot of his might be the weapons he has, not necessarily him. Although I do believe he's a big part of it, I'm gonna go with C.J. Stroud.
That's fair. Okay.
Those will be my 5 for the AFC.
Okay.
What about you? What say you?
I think ours are pretty much aligned. Yes, I was going to put C.J. Stroud in there as well. I mean, it's tough. I know he's coming off his rookie season, but dude, that rookie season was amazing. He was borderline MVP candidate. So it's kind of hard to say that he's not top 5 in the AFC.
Yes.
Now it's the 5th one that I kind of have issue with because I'm not so sure I want to put Lamar Jackson as a top 5 quarterback in the AFC.
Can't blame you. I mean,
it's easy to do it.
I had hesitancy, but again,
I know it's easy to do it because he just won another MVP, which is fine. But
although by all accounts, we've said this.
Yeah,
wasn't necessarily an MVP season.
It was not.
It was.
And that's why I think like the MVP in the NFL is kind of a joke, a little bit, because I think it's more of a
Popularity
contest / lifetime achievement award sometimes.
Yeah.
But that being said, it's kind of hard not to put him in. It's almost by default.
That's
you know.
I agree with you. That's why I threw him in there.
So I would have to. I almost have to put him in.
So here's one who I think could jump into the top 5 this year.
Anthony Richardson. There you go.
I absolutely believe if he can stay healthy all season.
Yeah.
I think he has all the tools and all the ability to be able to step into that top 5.
Yeah.
I really do.
Okay. Now moving on to the NFC.
NFC. Let's see. This is tougher than the AFC.
I know.
So I'm gonna go with one that is Actually, I think they're all gonna be controversial. I'm gonna go with Jordan Love. I think what he showed second half of last year is exactly who he is.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think the contract was a little bit premature because of he didn't have much to, but like it is what it is.
You had to lock him up at some point,
right?
Yeah.
So I think he's more what he showed second half of last year than he is what most Lions fans want him to be, which was the first couple years you saw him where it was spot duty, and he was doing mop up and he was not looking very good. He looked pretty fucking good last year.
He did.
Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
Although he needs to take a step up again this year to really solidify that role as well. As much as I don't necessarily like him, I'm going to go with Dak Prescott.
Okay.
I will go with Jared Goff. I feel his role on that team is very solidified, and he's owned the role he plays on that team. He's a distributor. He's I don't want to say a game manager because that takes away from him. Mm-hmm. Because he's not necessarily a game manager, but he is go through your reads, make the smart read, don't throw into double coverage, throw to whoever's open. Like, it's just make the smart read. Like,
yeah.
and be selective. And he's done a very great job at that, and that team is very good. I think I put him in the top 5.
Okay.
So that's 4. Man, oh fucking man. I'm going to go with one here where it's more about the rest of the team than necessarily him. I think he's a good quarterback, not a great quarterback, but I think the position he's in is going to be very good this year, and I think it's going to be Kirk Cousins.
Okay.
I think what he brings to the table for that team with all the talent they have.
Yeah.
Do I think Matt Stafford's a more talented quarterback? Yeah. But
that's who I was putting in.
Yeah, I mean, but it's between those two for me.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the coming year and the possibility more than anything. And I think Matt Stafford has a bigger arm and he's a better quarterback in most ways, but Kirk Cousins has really been pretty fucking consistent, to be honest with you, despite all the criticism he gets. And I mean, even you admit it. You're one of his biggest detractors. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, listen, he's not a bad quarterback. He's good. It's just
those big moments.
It's letdowns and big moments, which Matt Stafford was notorious for before he got to L.A.
Mm-hmm.
I think with that team around him, I think Kirk Cousins shows a different side this year. I really do.
All right. So yes, for me, it's kind of similar. I think the only one we're flip flopping on is I'm putting Stafford in ahead
instead
of
Cousins.
Instead of Cousins.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Also, I'm putting Brock Purdy in ahead of Dak.
See, now Brock Purdy's close for me. He's right there after Stafford and Cousins.
I feel like it's another guy. He's kind of like Cousins light. Those big moments.
Well, I know. So, but I mean, Purdy hasn't really failed in big moments. I think Purdy's biggest knock at this point is the fact that he was Mr. Irrelevant, and people take away from him based on the fact that the team is so fucking good, which sometimes is not fair. Because just because you play for a great team doesn't mean that's the only reason why you're playing well. You know what I mean? Like,
well, you look at the offense Dallas has. Shouldn't Dak be significantly better than?
no,
he
and
is?
I agree with you. I agree with you.
know?
I flat out agree with you. So, for me, I think Dak has done it a little while longer,
That's fair.
which is, listen, I'm not gonna knock you for putting Purdy in there. I didn't think you were gonna mention his fucking name if we asked you to do the fucking top 8 quarterbacks. I thought you would never mention his name, so I'm not gonna hate on you for that. I like Brock Purdy. I think he's a good quarterback.
Yeah.
I couldn't necessarily put him up there just yet. Now, if he has another good year, yeah,
Okay.
for sure, yeah.
Well,
And I'll be another one
Yeah.
before you jump into your read. Sorry.
Yeah.
Is one of my favorite football players, and that's Baker.
Baker.
If he comes in this year and has
Dude.
another year like last year,
Yeah. If they lose them to the playoffs again. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to show it again, but
He does.
Yeah. You know who else shows it all the time?
Jason Stiltner from Flagstar Bank. If you're a homeowner or looking to be a first-time home buyer, give Jason Stiltner, Senior Loan Officer at Flagstar Bank, a call today at 248-752-3631. Jason has great mortgage programs for first-time home buyers, including down payment assistance options and excellent interest rates. Again, give my guy, Jason Stiltner from Flagstar Bank, a call today at 248-752-3631 and get the excellent service you deserve. Flagstar Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC, NMLS number 27546.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. You want to get into any fantasy stuff, or is that you wait till?
I think it's a little early for fantasy stuff.
Okay, that's fair.
Plus, I haven't really looked at much, so I don't. I like my. It would just be based off of general knowledge that I have. I haven't done much research or anything like
Fair
that.
enough.
this year, so.
I'm cool with that. All right. So, which coach or coaches won't make it through the season, and which one is the first to go?
Oh man.
Number one for me is easy.
Go ahead.
Nick Sirianni. I don't think that dude makes it through the season. I think he's the first to go. I think that team has absolutely quit on him.
Really?
Yep. You saw how it played out last year. I don't foresee that being mended very well coming into this year.
Okay.
And I think the record is going to show that.
Okay.
And I think he's going to get bounced. Because you know, Philly's owner is not going to put up with that shit from last year.
No, and if they have another year like that, it's going to be it's going to be bad news.
Put it this way, he's going to have a very short leash, especially after what went down last year, when the team basically quit on him.
He will. I think he's. I think he's on the hot seat. He's one of them. I think Brian Daboll is probably going to be the first one. I think,
Which would be absurd to me, because you don't have
I
talent
mean,
on
you
that
don't.
team.
You don't.
Have you seen him lately? By the way,
No.
he lost a shitload of weight.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. No, I haven't seen him.
Yeah, he actually looks good. It's like, holy fuck, dude.
Another one that I think is on the hot seat and is going to be up there on coaches to lose a job right away. And I like this guy, and it kind of sucks, but all his cards are in the basket of a certain football player we talked about already, Aaron Rodgers, and it's Robert Saleh.
I don't disagree with that.
I really think if they get off to a bad start, if Aaron Rodgers goes down again early, if something happens there, he could find himself without a job.
I don't disagree with that. I mean, we've talked about this a little bit. Like, we thought that he was one of the coaches definitely on the hot seat, especially with the team he has. Like, and yes, does it kind of come down to what your quarterback does or doesn't do for you? Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you've already shown your defense is good enough to win you games with a shitty quarterback. So really, if you have a healthy Aaron Rodgers this year, you really don't have an excuse anymore. So, I'm in full agreement with you on that. I think he's got kind of a short leash, just like Sirianni does.
Another one here that I'm not a huge fan of as far as the head coach goes. If the Jaguars have another down year, Peterson could find himself on the outs as well.
And again, that goes again to your starting quarterback. If Trevor Lawrence even regresses from what he was last year, which I believe he's already reached his ceiling. I don't think he's going to get any better than he was 2 years ago. Then, yeah, you're fucked.
I think he could possibly get to where he was 2 years ago, but even that would be a letdown, truly.
Right, because you're not going to get any better.
No. So, but I think if the team plays well,
Yeah.
and Trevor can be close to what he was 2 years ago,
Yeah.
then I think Doug Peterson will be judged on what the team does, and their standings will be their standings. If Trevor fails and they fail completely, like it's probably lights out for him.
Yes. No, I would agree with that.
Basically, I look at him the same way as I look at Nick Sirianni, but Peterson has more of a track record, and not as high of expectations really as the Eagles did coming into last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the Jaguars still had high expectations though, and they completely underwhelmed.
Oh, they absolutely did.
So another year of underwhelming when you had higher expectations, not quite like the Eagles, but higher. I think you're looking at a possibility right there for sure.
You got anything else on the coaches? I mean, we all know Mike McCarthy, but he's not going to get fired mid-season.
No, McCarthy's not going to get fired mid-season. No, I don't really have much on the head coaches. I mean, the top guys are the top guys. You know who they are, and you know who they coach, and I mean, there's some newer guys on some new spots on teams that are going to possibly look to make names for themselves or reestablish their name. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the ones I'm going to be watching is Antonio Pierce. I feel like he got that role, the interim role, and then it just got handed to him.
I'm curious to see how that works.
The players wanted him so badly, they just kind of went with it, and I'm curious to see how that works out.
It's kind of rare that works.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to find the best words to say it, but yeah,
No,
it's very rare that an interim coach being handed the job works out.
Especially in the NFL when your roster turns over so much.
Yeah.
You know, that doesn't work all that often. But
I'm curious to see how Gerard Mayo does.
Yeah.
In New England.
I think, honestly, he'll do well. I do.
So I look at him like DeMeco Ryans a little bit, right?
Why, because he's black? Sorry, buddy.
God damn. Yes, exactly. It's exactly why.
No, I actually do. I think he'll succeed. I really do. I think he'll be a solid head coach.
I agree. I think he's a defensive mind head coach. He's a player head coach that comes in and he's been there. He's done that. He's still young enough. He relates to the team, relates to the players.
He won Super Bowls.
Can get his point across. I believe he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the way that I think he relates to DeMeco Ryans.
And he's
Not
black.
just because of his skin color. In that case, I might as well say Raheem Morris relates to. No, it's not the case. But yeah, I look at him kind of in the same mold, right? Defensive player coming in, young enough to relate to the players, has that fire, that passion, and is able to get through to the guys. And it's pretty smart as far as the X's and O's goes. So I think he could have some success there.
No, I'm with you. I think he'll. I absolutely agree that I think he will succeed. That's the only bad thing is, like, you rarely, if ever, want to be the guy that follows the guy. You know. So I hope New England fans give him a chance there to just let him do his thing. It's going to be different from what Belichick did. I don't think it's going to be tremendously different, but it is going to be different.
Very.
You got to let him do his thing. He's not Belichick. Just let him do his thing. Just give him time. Mm-hmm. And in due time, I believe he will come out. He's going to be a good coach. But
I would agree with that.
anyways, I digress. And then who are your top 5 teams in each conference?
Haha.
Eh,
Oh,
yeah.
oh, yeah.
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 All right. Top 5 teams in each conference. AFC, Kansas City,
Yes.
Houston,
Mm.
Buffalo,
Surprised you went there.
Miami,
Wow.
and Cleveland.
Woo. There's a couple in there that I did not expect you to pick.
Who are your AFC?
Baltimore.
Okay.
Obviously, Kansas City.
Yep. I think Kansas City's the obvious one, right?
Yes. Yes.
Kansas City's a gimme. Give me your top 4 after Kansas
Yeah,
City.
right? Cincinnati,
Okay.
assuming they have a healthy Burrow.
You mean Slim Shady?
Yes, I mean Slim Shady. Houston. And what, I got one more left?
Yeah.
This is where it gets tough.
Don't worry. In one of these shows coming up here before the season starts, we're going to do our actual picks and polls
Oh, good luck.
for the season, which will be fun. Working on those questions
Damn.
as we speak.
I'm going to surprise you a little bit. New York Jets.
Wow. After you said Aaron Rodgers is not even going to make it, huh?
This is all assuming that everybody's healthy and it plays up to their capabilities.
Okay.
That's all it is. If that's the case, then yeah, I think the Jets are one of the best teams in the AFC.
Listen, as a team,
Yes.
their whole team,
That's
yeah.
all. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all it was based on. It was
Yep.
if
No,
everybody's healthy.
So, like I said before, if Aaron Rodgers stays healthy
Yep.
and can give them any competency at quarterback,
Yeah,
that team is built to win.
I know, and that's why I'm putting them in
For
the top
sure.
5.
No,
if
I would agree with that.
so
NFC,
NFC.
I will go Eagles.
I'll go-
will.
Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you can go. Yeah, we'll do 1 and 1. Go ahead.
Niners.
Okay, I'll go Niners as well.
Yeah.
We probably should have done the NFC. Give me your top 4 teams after the Niners, same as we did for the AFC.
enough.
Give me your top 4 teams after Kansas
All
City.
right, and then I'll go Lions.
Okay. My third one will be the Lions.
Okay. My third one will be. God, the NFC sucks. Green Bay.
My fourth one is Green Bay.
Nice. Fourth for me will be the Atlanta Falcons.
My fifth one will be the Dallas Cowboys.
Woo. How about that? My fifth one will be. God, seriously, the NFC is terrible.
The NFC has a lot of middle of the road teams that
really fucking do.
Like Atlanta. I really like Atlanta. They could be really, really good. Or they could just be really flashy on offense and just not a good team overall. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of things that can happen there.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Well, I like that one.
There you go.
Baker.
And they got better this year.
Yeah.
So
Well, they did. And yeah.
So there's our top 5 teams in each conference, which is subject to change, of course, as it always does.
Subject to change.
We know who isn't subject to change.
The Joe Wright Group.
That's right. Whether you're buying or selling your home, now is the time to take advantage of having the expertise of 3 real estate agents on your side for the. Oh, I totally fucked this up. It's been a minute since I've done this read.
It's not his fault he can't read.
On this one, yeah, it is.
Don't worry, nobody's listening anyway.
But they got a good point there. Let's try this again. Whether you're buying or selling your home, now is the time to take advantage of having the expertise of 3 real estate agents for the price of 1 on your side. Make the right move with the right group, the Joe Wright Group. Give Craig Joe Wright, Mike Bush, and Shane Wilson a call today with 248-535-4750 to fulfill all of your real estate needs. Good God, dude. I think it's the worst one I've ever fucked up.
It's not his fault he can't read.
That was bad. Would you ever have one of those days where if you feel like anything you do, something goes wrong with it?
I've
That's
had-
really how today has been.
I've had plenty of those days.
I feel like everything I've done today has something minor has gone wrong
Happy
with it.
Chinooka.
Exactly. So that's literally how this day has been. But it is what it is.
That's literally,
Literally. Yes. You want to hit some SummerSlam shit?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Since that is this weekend, which hopefully it's better than last year's show, because last year's show really sucked and it was incredibly predictable. incredibly predictable.
I feel like a lot of the pay-per-views anymore are predictable, which kind of sucks.
This has been the problem with the Trips era. It has been. Predictability.
Yes.
Overall, I think he's done a really good job.
I do.
But the predictability is off the charts. Like, you literally – that's why I wish we could bet on this shit. We clean up.
Same. Yeah,
Fucking
same.
clean up on this. So
we'll start out with the CM Punk versus McIntyre
yes.
with the special guest referee.
Seth
is
Rollins.
Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins.
I will never not say his name.
Oh,
like
you
that
got it.
anymore.
You have to. It's a moral imperative.
Yeah. Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins.
So I like the vitriol that's coming with this match.
Oh, I think it's been great.
So I had a text last night from one of our sponsors, Baldman Entertainment.
Yes.
He asked me if I thought the Drew McIntyre CM Punk anger and hatred was real. And I said, no, I don't think so. I think they're doing really great at portraying
Legitimate hatred.
They're acting on sort of some underlying stuff that was realistic for a while. Like, it was partially realistic.
Yeah.
And I think they're playing off the fact that you are going to truly believe it because there is this believability in the background from reality.
Oh, yeah.
And I think these guys are honestly just so good at what they do. They can portray that so well that you're like, man, these guys really fucking hate each other. Is there a background there? Yes.
Yep.
Are they playing a role? Absolutely. This
Yes.
is all a role
it
for
is.
every one of them. Now, and even Seth Rollins, he doesn't get along with either one of those guys. Technically, in reality, there's been problems in the past, right? But I think a lot of that is also the same thing. I think they're just doing a great job at acting based on reality
No,
or perceived reality.
I would agree with you on that. And what I love about this whole thing is obviously I'm not a huge fan of Pepsi Phil, but his mic work is undeniable. He's one of the best guys on the mic ever in wrestling history. He just is. So that obviously you got that to play off of, and what I've loved about McIntyre's heel work, which is some of the best heel work I think we've seen in a long time.
Oh, it's great.
I think it's fantastic, but a lot of the things he says are valid. If you think about it, it's like, yeah, that's legitimate. That's valid.
And that's where I think they're doing a great thing with blurring the lines of fake and reality,
Yeah.
right? Like, they're blurring the lines, and I think it's great. This in particular is really blurring those lines of fiction versus reality. And with those three guys doing it, by all accounts, those are three of the best in the business.
Yep.
Drew has been such a great heel.
Oh yeah.
Love the work as a heel, man.
Agreed.
Like, he's awesome as a heel.
Yep.
Almost so much so that you root for him as the heel. You're like, yeah,
I've been
all
rooting
right,
for him as a heel the whole time. Absolutely.
Right.
I
So
love it.
like,
all the social media posts and shit like that. Shit's hilarious.
oh, it's great. And then Punk is like, I'm anxious to see him get back in the ring and have a one-on-one match. It's 10 and a half years since he's had a one-on-one match in WWE.
Yeah,
right?
It's been a minute.
And so he had the first match he had back was the Royal Rumble,
Yeah.
and he got hurt.
Yep.
Best in the world, not to take the words out of his mouth. Best in the world on the mic.
Yeah.
On the mic,
It's hard
dude,
to disagree with that.
It is.
Yeah.
Whatever you think about the guy on the mic,
He's outstanding.
he's unbelievable.
I think-
If he can do anything in the ring anymore,
Yeah.
I'm on board for whatever they have him involved in, especially with Drew, because this back and forth is awesome.
Yep.
I'm just really into seeing how this plays out, and I'm give me more CM Punk, give me more Drew.
Yeah.
Have them clash for a little while, have this feud go on, even have it divert and go elsewhere, and then come back. Like, just have it intersecting all the time. These two going at each other is great
It's
for
fantastic.
business.
Now, here's a little bit of an offshoot of this. He was better than Mike. Pepsi Phil or Paul Heyman?
Paul Heyman.
Okay.
In different ways.
Yeah.
Okay, Paul Heyman's great on the mic for a figurehead. for a guy talking for a group, for a guy talking for other. Like, Paul Heyman's the best to do what he does.
Okay.
As far as a wrestler goes, the only wrestler I think was better than CM Punk on the mic as a wrestler on the mic was The Rock.
Yeah.
And now, I'm not talking about now because he's not as good on the mic now. In his prime, nobody compared.
No.
Punk is on that level as a wrestler with the mic in his hand.
Okay.
Because even if you hate the guy, you're sitting on the edge of your seat waiting to hear what he has to say because he's just so good at saying it.
Right. So going back to that match, who wins?
I'm going to go with – this is a tough one, me. I'm waffling on this one a little bit because this one can go several ways, and they threw a wrench in it with the special guest referee, right?
Yep.
I think in some way Seth Rollins accidentally screws one of them over.
Yeah.
The other one wins, and then there's like a triple threat match down the road.
Yes.
Right?
Like a Bad Blood or something
Right.
like that. Yeah.
But I think one of those two guys is going to get screwed, and the odds are it's going to be Drew because he just keeps getting screwed.
This is where I differ from you.
Okay.
I think it's going to be Punk that gets screwed. Because there's only so many times you can screw over a guy without a payoff for him and be like, all right, dude, come on.
Right. Like you got to pay it off at some point.
Like you screwed him over at Money in the Bank. You screwed him over at Clash of the Castle in his home freaking country. Like at some point you got to at least pay it off that he actually gets his revenge on CM Punk, right?
Right.
So I agree with you the premise that Seth Rollins is going to
Seth Rollins.
like fuck this up somewhere, but I think it's going to be in favor of McIntyre. Or McIntyre's going to win. And then, it will probably set up a triple threat match at another pay-per-view in the future.
Seth Rollins.
Yeah. So moving on to the World Heavyweight Championship, Damian Priest versus Gunther. You know, I was not interested in this feud like whatsoever until the past couple weeks when they've actually taken it up a notch. And I think Priest has actually been really good on the mic this past couple weeks. And Gunther's generally pretty good on the mic. He's not great by any means, but he's pretty good.
He's pretty good, and he has that way of making you hate him.
Yeah.
Which is really fucking great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you really do hate the guy when he talks.
Right.
You're like, man, I fucking despise you.
But that kind of brought itself to fruition these past few weeks, which
I think Damian Priest has done really well since his title reign. I think what limited work they've given him, I think he's really knocked it out of the park, man.
Okay.
I think his borderline leadership of Judgment Day, while Rhea's been out,
right,
and him basically talking down to everybody like he's the parent and they're the children, has been really good. And I think
he's kind of had to.
Well, he's had to, and the fact that he's constantly making them stay out of his business. This is mine to handle. Stop jumping. I know that's written in there, but I think he's done a good job at portraying that.
Yeah.
And I really am on board for more Damian Priest as champion right now. At first, I wanted to see it be a short reign, and then
I did too.
Now, I'm like, you know what? No, like I kind of like what he's doing here. I want to see this pay out a little bit more. Have him hold the title for just a little bit, and have him have some title matches, and defenses, and then let's see what happens. I would like to see him part ways with Judgment Day, honestly. From
what I hear, that's ending shortly.
It is. Not sure how, but from what I understand, it is ending shortly, yes.
Which, yes, that needs to
end.
And
honestly, I want to see it pay off with him versus Finn Balor for the title. That's how I want to see it pay off.
Well, obviously, like last night, Gunther wrestled Balor. It was actually a fantastic match.
Yeah.
So this could theoretically play out. Now, I was thinking that Priest was going to win on Saturday. But the more I think about it, and I like where you're headed with this storyline, I could see Gunther winning this. I absolutely could. And I think he's going to. I think they're ready to strap the world title on him.
He's close.
Yep.
And so close that I thought he was going to win the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And they were going to pin it on him after he was going to, you know what I mean? Like, right. Yes, he's one of those guys that is for sure on the cusp.
Mm-hmm.
He's where I think everybody wants LA Knight to be. he's legitimate right there, ready to win the title.
Yeah.
Everyone wants LA Knight to be right there to win the title, but if you look at reality, he's not yet.
Heavyweight, like the top.
Yeah.
Top, yeah. No, he's not.
He's
not
not.
there yet. No, he's not there.
So, we all love LA Knight and
Yeah.
what he does, but but Gunther really is legitimately right there.
Oh, he
and,
is.
and that's where.
That's why they kept the IC belt on him so long. I mean,
Yep,
he's
I
that
agree.
guy, you know.
Yep.
Next, we got the women's championship, Bayley versus Nia Jax. This is a match I honestly do not care about, and will probably not watch. But
Yeah.
I just it does nothing for me. Like, I'm not a Nia Jax person. I still think she's terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a match I honestly don't care about. But I think Nia Jax will win. I do.
I don't.
All right.
I think this is another one where they get Bayley over just a little bit more with that title and let her run with it for a little bit longer.
Okay.
I think respect-wise in the company, that's where they're at. They want to give her some respect and let her get some nice wins under her belt with the belt. And by all accounts, Nia Jax would be that big giant villain. Not in that sounded bad, but like that sounded awful. But no, like she's the big villain, right?
Yeah.
Like she's the major villain.
Yeah.
I should say major. And for her to get a win over a major villain as Bayley, the champion, I think that's where they're at with this one. I personally think Bayley wins this one. And also, I just want to see Bayley win it because I can't stand Nia Jax.
No, I'm with you.
I
I'm
just
not,
can't stand her.
Not her biggest fan either.
And everyone is like, well, it's wrestling, it's fake. No, I know that, but I'm not a fan of her as a person either. Like, I just don't like her. I'm not a fan of the character she plays. I'm not a fan of her as a person. Less of her would be more for me.
Yes. Next is the Women's World Championship. It's Liv
That's
Morgan.
your favorite.
No, Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley. Yeah,
I mean, I'm just all about seeing these two go at it.
obviously. I couldn't care who wins.
I don't give a shit who wins.
Nope.
You know who wins?
We do.
Me.
Yes. I do have Liv Morgan winning this, simply because I don't think Rhea Ripley is 100% yet. So I think it's going to be one of those type of matches where not a whole lot goes down.
Yeah, they'll probably have some spots.
I think
where
it'll be a very short match too.
It might be.
But somehow Dominic, this is where Judgment Day comes crashing down. This is Dominic will screw over Rhea Ripley, etc. Liv holds on to the belt, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
That's how I see this going.
Yep.
Next, we got the undisputed WWE Championship. Cody Rhodes, God damn it, versus Solo Sikoa. God, could I not care less about a fucking WWE Championship match? I don't like either of these fucking clowns. This bloodline shit is dumb. It's fucking dumb.
I think you're not seeing the eventual payoff.
No, you talked to me about this
Yeah.
eventual payoff, which I'm down for that. But this shit they got going on now,
So what it is right
it's
now?
lame.
Well, they're biding their time because Roman's not here.
It's like a Walmart fucking bloodline. It's terrible.
Well, and if in case you haven't noticed, they know that. Like, have you ever noticed that instead of doing this, they're
Yeah.
now doing this?
Yeah.
Like they're literally changing it to where they're not doing this anymore. They're doing this.
Right.
Also, have you noticed that? I forgot his name, but Jacob Fatu. You notice he does the Paul Heyman.
I've not noticed that. No.
He's constantly doing the Paul Heyman.
Is that right?
I have a feeling he's going to turn and go with Roman when he comes back. But yeah, so he's always constantly doing the prayer like Paul Heyman would do to Roman.
Yeah.
I like where I see the payoff for the bloodline going. I'm with you on the vitriol, and I like Solo. I think he plays a good villain character, and I think he was a little underutilized. I think now people don't like him as far as the villain he plays. I just like the role he's playing. I think it's a great role.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes to me is so vanilla bullshit.
Oh my
I
God.
just can't take it anymore.
I think it's one of the worst title reigns ever. Ever.
His character has just like, what else is there to do? If they don't turn him heel at some point, everybody's going to turn on him.
Oh yeah.
This is vanilla. This is as vanilla gets, man. It's boring.
When you're more vanilla than John Cena.
Well,
Like, dude.
But listen, when they have to keep teaming you up with guys like Kevin Owens and Orton and Jey Uso, and they're doing that because those guys are super over.
Yeah.
And
You were over.
You were over. Then you won the title. Everyone's
Yeah,
like,
nobody cares. They're great.
like they have to keep putting you with guys that are super over because even your mic skills are not very great, not very good.
Because
They're
it's
just-
always the same shit.
It is. It's the same,
same
stuff
shit
all the time.
all the time.
And listen, I'm a fan of him as a person. I love what he does for the youth. I love what he does with the fans. I really do. I love all that.
He's a significantly more boring John Cena. That's what he
Yes,
is.
they're just like there needs to be more. There needs to be a change somehow because it is fucking boring. It's boring.
Very boring. However, I do think he retains.
I do.
Unfortunately,
I agree.
But I do think he retains.
I want to see. I'm not sure we're gonna see it. I want to see some sort of even a fucking crumb of where we're going with this Bloodline story and Roman Reigns coming back.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see something. I want to see the Usos team back up somehow, which is gonna happen.
Yes.
I want to see another significant crumb of what the payoff's eventually going to be, what we're going to see, because I love where it's headed. I can see it in the distance. I see the light. Give me another decent crumb to hold on to for a little while. Give me that little bit of a pump of adrenaline of like, yes, let's do this.
I
wanna see that.
wouldn't be shocked to see him show up at SummerSlam.
I would love that. I would love that. That would make the
great.
pay-per-view for me. Honestly, bring him back.
Next up, we got the United States Championship, Logan Paul versus LA Knight.
Logan Paul in his hometown,
Yeah.
Cleveland.
Is this the time you finally strap the belt to LA Knight?
You want my short answer?
No. That's your
Yes.
short answer.
No, my short answer is yes.
You think they're going to do it? They're going to pull the trigger?
Yep.
I think it's time that they do pull the trigger on this,
I do too, and I think that's why they do it.
especially in Logan Paul's hometown.
Yeah.
That's the perfect place to do it. Yeah.
Yep. I think this is where they finally strap a title on him.
Yep.
This is where you put the title on a guy who's going to defend that title night in and night out,
Yes.
as opposed to Logan Paul, who's once off here and there. All right, they gave him the title. They let him run with it for a little while. He did a pay-per-view here and there. It's time they take that title, put it on a guy who is there night in and night out.
Yep.
And Logan Paul can still come back and wrestle his matches,
He
do his
can,
shit.
yeah.
But, like, it's time for them to put LA Knight onto that next level.
Like a legitimate wrestler. And don't get me wrong.
No, they need LA Knight to have this title because they need him, again, like we talked about. Gunther is where people want LA Knight to be, but Gunther's there because he carried that fucking Intercontinental title for so long.
He did.
And he's good at what he does.
Yep.
LA Knight's got to carry that title for a little bit. And then he'll get to that next level of being able to contend for these bigger championships. I think this is where he wins the U.S. title. This is where he makes a little bit of a run with a title around his waist.
I think it's exactly what should happen. Then we have the Intercontinental Championship. Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker's going to win. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
I don't see any way he doesn't.
Yes.
Other than like,
I am not interested in his character like one bit.
no, it's worn thin for me real quick. I'm a fan of his family. I'm a fan of seeing him pan out. I think his character's been real one-dimensional.
Very one-dimensional. It's cool.
And
You can
it's-
run fast and you spear people.
Right.
Great.
Like it's very one-dimensional. His mic skills aren't great.
No.
I would rather see Dragunov win. I think he's got more depth to his character. I think he's got
I
more
would agree with that.
wrestling ability.
I would 100% agree with that.
Yeah, I think, but I do agree with you. I think Breaker wins this. I think they've got a fucking rocket strapped to his fucking ball sack.
Oh, my
And-
God. I can't believe I said that about him.
What?
When I put in our group text about
Oh,
Braun
yeah, yeah.
Breaker.
Yeah, I'm
looks
not gonna say it.
It
You can
looks
say
like
it.
a Down syndrome kid on steroids. The fuck, dude? Yeah. Like honestly, I don't. He doesn't. He really doesn't do anything for me. It's like it's this other guy who looks juiced up, and he runs fast. That's cool, and he spears people. Where have we seen that before? You know, it's like okay.
I don't know.
So yeah,
No, I think I think I think they have a rocket strapped to Braun Breaker. I think Sami Zayn's title run should be over.
Yep.
That's another guy. I like Sami Zayn, but I think he's too vanilla to keep carrying a title right now. Like, dude,
Correct.
let's have him still be around. Yeah. I still like seeing him. Let's have him do some shit with Kevin Owens and maybe the Usos, because that was funny stuff.
I feel like that's the only time he's actually interesting.
When he's with other people?
Yes. It's kind of like the same thing with Cody. It's like the only time he's interesting.
Right.
Say okay.
Yeah.
Like other than that, like on his own, it's just kind of like, all right. You're there. Yeah. Like you're good at what you do in the ring, like actually wrestling.
Yeah.
But like everything else, it's kind of
like, hey, it's you.
Meh.
You're there.
Yeah.
You.
Great.
You're there. You. Look at you.
You son of a bitch.
Standing there being you.
You son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch being you. You know who else is always them?
Who's that?
Steve Waddell from Baldman Entertainment.
Yeah, that's right.
We all know planning an event such as a wedding, birthday party, graduation party, or any other event that might require a DJ can be very hairy. Eliminate the stress and give Steve Waddell at Baldman Entertainment a call today. 586-747-5402. He is the resident DJ for St. Hubert's Festival every year. Speaking of which, this year, St. Hubert's Fall Festival falls on September 7th. That weekend, and Steve Waddell from Baldman Entertainment will be on the main stage from 1 to 4 on September 7th. That's Baldman Entertainment, 586-747-5402. The best decision you can make for a smooth event.
Yeah. Nicely done.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to hit?
No, I think I'm good.
Yeah.
You?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good.
All right. Give us a like, a share, and a follow on our social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. You can find all of our podcasts on your favorite podcast provider. As always, check out SOTDET.com. Click on shop, buy some stuff, and then you can check back there for we're going to do our yearly picks for football. Oh, yeah. We're going to do the weekly picks for football again. We'll get back into putting some more content on the website. Also, some fantasy stuff. Again, that's SOTDET.com. Chris, are we going to do a show next week?
I don't know. Are we? Next
Tuesday?
Tuesday?
Next Tuesday or next Friday? I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to end the show like I normally do.
Yeah.
On behalf of Chris, I'm Joe. We are Sports on Tap Detroit. See you next Tuesday.
And that is it for us today.
No! God, please, no!
Bye. Have a great time.
No! God!
Bye, guys.
No!
Bye, buddy.
No!
Goodbye.
No!
Goodbye.
No!
It's never goodbye.
You know, we've been through our ups and been through our downs.
You were meant to be here tonight.
You guys will always be in my heart.
Great moments are born from great opportunity.
I think the most important part is that we all stay together throughout.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Live. Fight like hell. The best thing I have ever done, the best thing I will ever do, is be a dad.
God, I love you guys. Mamba out.